Hi there. We are back with...
We are?
Yes.
Damn it. Cool.
This time, a mental model. So we've been talking about cognitive biases. It's time for a mental model.
Ooh.
And today, the mental model is actually called Kintsugi. That's a Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with gold lacquer to beautify the breaks instead of hiding them.
And you've probably seen them and just didn't know what they were. And
they're really pretty.
Oh, they're gorgeous.
And we first heard about it from a book that a lady named Carolyn Leaf wrote. Something about cleaning up your mental mess.
Yeah, something like that.
I've forgotten the exact title. I should have done that. But anyway, so this Kintsugi, it's kind of a Zen, part of a Zen philosophy.
Okay.
And it embodies this philosophy of embracing perfections, breakages, scars, and celebrating them as
imperfection, not perfection. Right?
Embracing imperfections, like unperfect. Imperfect, and scars as part of a new, a rebirth almost. It's an expression of this other concept called Wabi-Sabi.
I love that. Don't you just love that?
That's what I put in the title. So an author named Richard Powell summarized that as nothing lasts, nothing is finished, and nothing is perfect.
Remember that.
Another quote that I found that I like, I don't know who Trent Sheldon is, but Trent Sheldon wrote, "Never be ashamed about being broken, because strength is nothing but pain that's been repaired."
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's deep.
I mean, that's
pretty damn good.
Yeah. These cycles of damage and repairing the damage, we've probably all heard about it if you break a bone. Our body puts extra bone material around the break as it repairs it. So if there's an X-ray later on, it's easy for them to see what's been repaired because there is this thickening that's happened there. So, and scars. Sometimes our scars are a little bump rather than just a mark. I mean, especially earlier on, they tend to fade over time. But so this idea of transforming that original thing into something new and different, and something that you can value, and that's where it's like, I survived that. Right?
Hey.
I had that experience. Yes, we can talk about something that happened to us, and
we've all gone through the pandemic, right? That's something we all survived, or the ones that are here.
Yes.
And we can say we came out of that.
We came through that, and it's that we're kind of come back to that, because one of the practical applications of this is forget about going back to normal and just embrace the new normal. The world's changed.
We all got a new normal, don't we?
But things are, that's not the first time we've had to embrace a new normal.
No.
Okay? I mean, it's part of life. It really is. We had the Cold War. We had the nuclear race between the different countries and lived under the threat of missiles aimed at us here in Florida.
Yeah,
and
in Georgia.
So,
and we also had, how many economic meltdowns have we gone through now?
Well,
And we went through Y2K.
Right, and the stock market crash of 1987. Not a lot of people remember that, but I do. So this thing of, when you think about valuing it, these experiences that we've had are what we use to build self-confidence. And we were talking about that earlier today. Self-confidence is something we construct. It doesn't just happen. It doesn't just come out of nowhere. We have to look at what we've done and what we've survived and what we've experienced and say, I can do that.
Or I've done that.
Well, I've done that. And so if it were to happen again, I wouldn't want it to happen again, but I know I could survive it because I did once. So other practical applications. Thinking of this principle of Kintsugi as an alternative to disposable everything, to repairing things, to living with something that's a little bit worn, or and so some of the things like antiques, if they've got what some people would consider staining, that's called patina, and it adds to the value. And if you clean it off, you devalue the antique value.
Yeah, we had somebody who did that. Yeah.
I probably did that as a kid myself, unknowingly, but not knowing that again, when we have new shiny things and we value new and shiny, then getting that old dark stuff off of there seems like a good idea.
Well, it's like when you get in a new car and that first, you got to live through that first scratch.
Yep.
Or that first dent,
and
And then you're okay.
And then it's got a scratch, and you can't undo it.
Nope. Now it has character.
And so I guess we need to paint gold on them.
There we go.
So another thing is reframing our failures as learning.
Yep.
Right? Learning what didn't work.
And I think that is
like,
a key. That one I really
Edison
do
did
like.
that. Thomas Edison. Somebody asked him about, well, you've tried, I don't know, several thousand ways of, to build this light bulb, and they've all been failures. He said, well, I've learned, I guess this was after he finished. So it was, one less than that. I learned that many ways that didn't work. Mm-hmm. So he definitely reframed that.
Right.
So give yourself a break. That's another thing. We need to give ourselves a break.
Take a deep breath. It's okay.
Everybody struggles.
Yeah.
Everybody gets hurt. We all get hurt. And we all make mistakes.
And I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how much fame you got. I don't care how whatever is out. It's all.
We're all still people.
Yep. We all put our pants on the same way.
And that stuff that we go through, those mistakes, those learning, head bumps, they build character.
Yeah, they do.
Right.
Right.
It's just.
And just like our scars, you go, oh, what did you do to get that one? And it's kind of like, oh, well,
Well, and for many years, women used to take a particular, like a makeup pencil, and put a mark on their face, and it was called a beauty mark.
Right.
And it was, again, there's a little imperfection that creates character. So accepting imperfection and impermanence in others.
Ah, there we go, baby.
Imperfection, yes. Impermanence, I had to think about that for just a second, but yet people change, right? Mm-hmm. When I was a young man, I thought this lady right here would always be the same person. And boy, talk about putting somebody in a box. We're not permanent. We change. We have to change and grow, and it's important to allow that and
we still have
celebrate
fun with that.
You betcha. Finding ways to celebrate our scars and repairs, and not only on our bodies but in the things that we own and just in our life,
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I messed up. Okay, I learned from it. So and then embracing the new normal. So that was my notes. That's all we got. I would love to hear from you as to something that you have repaired and now value. Leave us a comment, and we'll see you in another video.
Bye.
Bye.